When I started to do this 4 years ago, I didn't need my glasses. On this day of Rosh Hashanah, on this second day service, I can't help hearing in my mind the phrase, all things old or new again. Today we have a new senior rabbi, a new president of the congregation, an almost new executive director. And yet we are an established congregation, and we have these traditions which carry with us. When I see all of us in the congregation who are here today and who participated in this second day of Rosh Hashanah, makes me proud to be a member of this congregation. So I want to welcome our new executive director, Amy Schwach, our new senior rabbi, Rabbi Mosbacher, to their first of what I hope will be many second day of Rosh Hashanah services. And I also want to express, on behalf of the entire congregation, our thanks to Jesse and Steve, who once again have led us so beautifully and who spent so much time bringing this all together. Today we read about how, according to Torah, the world we live in came to be. I do not believe it was ever intended to be understood as literally true. It was not even, when written, understood as an objective description of a sequence of events that led to the world's being the way it is. It was rather a narrative framework of embedded values that helped to shape and guide people's lives, and that is what it is for us today. From this perspective, what is most striking to me about Bereshit is not what it says, but what it doesn't say, and not what is in it, but what is not in it. For one thing, there is no sea monster. In the ancient Near Eastern creation stories, the God who created the world did so by struggling with and subduing a pre-existing sea monster. This primordial cosmic power, as Nahum Sarna describes it, was called Tiamat in the Babylonian religious myth and was in the Canaanite religion called Mot, which also means death. Professor Sarna explains a female dragon-esque personification of the primordial saltwater ocean represented the aggressive forces of primitive chaos that contend against the God of creation. In pagan religions of the time, the world was at bottom, literally at bottom, a hostile and dangerous place. But in the biblical account of creation, there is no primordial force other than God. There is chaos, to be sure, but the world before the creation of the world was tohu vavohu, or as Robert Alter puts it, welter and waste. But it was not angry and hostile. God shapes what was and forms it in a way that is hospitable to the man and the woman to whom God will soon give life. In the biblical account of creation, the world is at bottom good and is intended to be a place in which human beings can thrive and prosper. There is no powerful primordial agency other than God. According to the prophet Isaiah, God wants all people to know that there is none but me. I am the eternal, and there is none else, the one who forms light and creates darkness, who makes peace and creates bad. It is I, the eternal, who does all these things. The other thing that is not in the biblical account of creation are demons. In the ancient worlds, demons pre-existed the creation of the world. They are powers that are hostile to humans or at best indifferent. They interfere with all forms of human activity. And for things to go well for people, for our hopes and our dreams to be fulfilled, we must contend with these demons. They need to be placated or appeased, but are never actually overcome. In fact, on some days in the Babylonian calendar, no new things were even tried because the demons on those particular days were too strong and simply would not let human plans succeed. If we are honest with ourselves, we must admit that all of us have our own demons. For some, the demon is an addiction to alcohol or drugs or gambling or all manner of things. For some, it is a painful childhood experience that colors how we live our lives today, or an overbearing or controlling parent, or one who was distant and uncaring, that we continue to try to please, so much so that it interferes with our own happiness, even though that person is no longer active in our lives. The demon might be a bully at school or an overly demanding boss at work who seems intent on having us fail. To some, the demon is fate. No matter how hard I try, fate snatches away success from me every time I am just about to grasp it. But Torah teaches that there are no demons. All that appear to be so cannot actually control us because they are not real. We know this because God created heaven and earth. Only God, there is none else. As we approach this new year, let us all confront our own private demons. And let us find the courage and strength not just to contain them, like Tiamat, the sea monster, but to rout them out of our lives. And let us do so comforted and strengthened with the knowledge that, yes, we can ultimately prevail. We know this because, as Torah teaches, God created heaven and earth. Only God, there is none else. And God created the world to be a place for humans to prosper and thrive. L'shana tova u'matuka.